back to Sammy's kitchen. Today we are making a very famous dish known worldwide, samosas. There are many variations of samosas, the fillings. They can be vegetarian, meat, poultry, fish. It's all personal preference and they're all delicious. Today we are making Keema Samosas with a mince filling, lamb mince filling, which is a personal favourite. But you can use chicken mince, vegetables, any variation which you wish. Samosas are enjoyed as starters across restaurants, as a light snack in the evening, and today I'm going to show you how to make them. To begin with, the ingredients you'll need are 750 grams of plain white flour, 3 to 5 spring onions, which I've just chopped roughly, a teaspoon of crushed coriander seeds, a teaspoon of cumin seeds, a quarter of a teaspoon of red chili powder, half a teaspoon of black pepper powder, a teaspoon and a half of salt or as per your taste. And over here I've got approximately 300 grams of mixed vegetables, which you can buy from the freezer section in the supermarket. You can use fresh vegetables, but I just find using the frozen vegetables, it does actually give it a slightly nicer taste. And the mix which I can get is just more convenient. You don't have to chop it. So that's just my personal preference. Over here I've got approximately a pound of lean lamb meat, which is minced. You can use chicken or beef mince as per your preference. And I've got 200 millilitres of vegetable oil, 2 large white onions, 2 large white potatoes, 2 to 3 chilies, depending on your preference of how hot you like your samosa mixture, and 1 large bunch of coriander. You will also need approximately half a litre of water, and that's needed to make the samosa pastry mixture. We will be making a stiff dough, so you won't need too much water, but approximately 500 millilitres is fine. And also in the samosa pastry mixture you will need salt as per your taste, which is usually a large pinch. So in a large based pan I'm going to start by frying the mincemeat. You'll need about 2 to 3 teaspoons of vegetable oil or any oil which you prefer to use, and we're going to start frying the mincemeat. So just keep the heat on the lowest point and carry on stirring the mince, because we don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan. And we're just going to fry it until it's lovely and golden brown. So here you can see the mincemeat has browned. It's a lovely brown colour, and all the juices have dried off. So next we're going to add in the onions, which I have finely chopped. So I'm just going to give this a good mix, and I'm going to add in the rest of the spices. So I've given the onions a good mix, and next I'm going to go in the spring onions and the green chilies, which I've also finely sliced. And once you add in the green chilies, they release a really nice aroma, and that's the classic smell of a samosa mixture. So next, in go the spices. So we've got the cumin seeds, the black pepper powder, the coriander seeds, the red chili powder, and lastly just the salt. So just give all the spices a good mix with the mincemeat, So here we're just sauteing the onions with the meat and just lightly cooking off the spices. And this is you'll only need to do this for about 2 minutes, and closely you'll need to add in the vegetables and the potatoes. Have been sauteed in the mincemeat, and next we're going to add in the potatoes, which I've diced finely, and also the vegetables too. So I'm just going to give this a good mix. And I'm going to put the mincemeat on to steam then, to cook through, so all the spices and the vegetables and mincemeat can all mingle together, and that is how to make a samosa mixture. So now we're on to the second part of making the samosas. We're going to be making the pastry, which encases all the mixture. So I've got the flour and my oil and water, so we're going to begin by pouring the salt as per taste. So I've just got a large pinch here, and I'm going to give that a good mix into the flour. And then I'm just going to add in my oil, which is 200 millilitres. So I'm going to pour all of that in and give it a good rub. So I'm just going to rub the oil into the flour and it will turn into fine breadcrumbs. So here you can see I've combined the oil with the flour and it all resembles fine breadcrumbs. It's all mixed together and incorporated nicely. So next we're going to be adding the water, and we want quite a stiff dough. So just be careful when adding the water, add a little by a little amount, and give it a good mix and just see how you get on. So I'm just going to create a well in the middle, and I'm going to add the water. And I'm just going to bring all this into the middle and give it a good mix, and my dough will start to resemble in the middle. So the dough's formed and it's a rough, stiff texture. So I'm just going to pop this in the fridge for approximately 30 minutes to rest, and then we'll be rolling out the dough to make the samosa pastry. So here you can see the samosa filling has been cooking for 30 minutes. The potatoes are now lovely and soft, the onions have melted into the mixture, and the vegetables are all lovely and cooked as well. So the filling is ready, so we're going to move on to the pastry and filling the samosas. So I'm just going to leave this for an hour to cool, and then we can fill the samosas with the filling. So now we're going to roll out the dough to make the samosa pastry case. So I'm just going to grab about 50 grams of the dough and roll it. So I'm just going to form the dough into a dough ball, and I'm going to dip it into the flour. And I'm just crimping the edges, so just to make sure that the edges are going to be lovely and thin, as well as the centre when I roll it out. So the trick to ensuring that you get a nice lovely round circle is just to roll to your right. Out the dough ball, and some people like to roll out into an oval shape because they like to cut the samosa pastry in half, but we're going to cut it into quarters, so we've made it a lovely round circle shape. So I'm just going to cut the dough into quarters ready to be cooked, and this is the portions in which we'll be filling the samosas. So I'm just going to transfer the pastry to a flat pan. If you don't have a flat pan, you can always use a fry pan. And we're just going to cook the pastry on one side until it's opaque. And this shouldn't take long, it should take about 10 to 20 seconds. So just ensure that you have the flat pan or fry pan on the lowest heat, and you should only need to have the pastry on there for about 10 to 20 seconds, just until the pastry goes a lovely opaque colour. The samosa filling mixture has cooled down. Once it cooled down, I did add a handful of coriander, and now we're going to fill the samosas, the samosa pastry with the mixture, and the samosas will be ready to fry. So I'm just going to grab a quarter of the pastry which we cooked. So the part that was on the pan, which was cooked, I'm going to face that inwards. So on the circular side, you fold in, as you can see, and that is creating a cone. So just pinch it, and you're going to need to seal this. So I've just created a flour and water mixture, and this will act as a glue to seal the samosa mixture. So I'm just going to put glue down the line here and join that together to make my ice cream cone shape. So now I've got a good base to encase the filling. So I'm going to add about approximately a heaped tablespoon of the mixture. You don't want to overpack it, because then when frying the samosa the mixture will just explode. So mixture's in, and as you can see I'm just tucking over the pastry, and that will encase all the filling. And now I'm just going to add some more glue on the remaining flap, and that will be folded over, and you will get the classic triangle shape of the samosa. There are different methods how to fold samosas, but I find this the easiest. So that's the final samosa. So I'm just going to carry on, make the rest of my samosas, and we'll move on to the final step, and we'll be ready to eat the samosas. I've got a heavy based pan which I filled with vegetable oil. You're free to use any oil which you prefer, and we're going to be shallow frying the samosas, so I filled it enough. So here are the samosas I've made and filled, and they're all ready just to be fried now. So the oil's heated, so I'm just going to add in the samosas, and they're going to take about 3 to 4 minutes to fry, and you'll see that the pastry will form small bubbles like puff pastry, and it will be lovely and crispy on the outside, golden brown. So just rotate the samosas throughout frying, just to ensure that they are evenly cooked on both sides. Have been cooking for about 3 minutes. They're lovely crispy and brown, and I'm just going to remove them from the oil. So here are the samosas ready to eat. They look really crispy, lovely golden brown, and I hope you enjoy making them and eating them. These are dedicated especially to Amaan, who requested us to make the video. These can be enjoyed with chutney and ketchup or any sauce of your preference. So I hope you enjoy tucking into these samosas, and I hope you like, subscribe, comment on our videos, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.